Hi, my name is Walter Alexander Nahra. I'm a student at California State University, Los Angeles, and these are my notes for week 12 of CS 4540. As you've noticed, weeks 10 and 11 didn't get videos, and that's mostly due to not only spring break happening in between those 2 weeks, but also group presentation updates were happening on those weeks as well. As such, we didn't discuss much in terms of AI during those weeks. I've also want to state that before we begin that this will be the last video of the week as the following next few weeks won't have any lectures to make videos of as we come closer to the few days of the semester and focus shifting towards our group presentations for the end of the semester. So let's start it. To recap, AI have limitations. Hallucinations when a AI system produces either fabricated or incorrect results due to data training biases, reliance on statistical patterns over factual accuracy, and insufficient data. AI are incapable of deviating from their trained data. Thus, any questions that might evoke segments of their memorized patterns will take priority, ignoring the rest of the prompt. AI requires users to phrase their prompts in a specific manner due to its sensitivity, leading to moments where these systems fail to interpret one phrasing as the same as another phrasing, thus resulting in a misinterpretation and incorrect results. Due to reliance on trained data, AI lack the ability to solve problems outside of their trained data sets. And then weak patching generalization. Now, this video will mostly focus on generalizations and what that mean for AI, more specifically AGI. AGI or artificial general intelligence are generally defined as a system that can automate the majority of economically valuable work, which, while a useful goal to move towards, isn't a good measure of intelligence. Developers of AGI systems often buy levels of skills for their systems as having either unlimited priors or unlimited training data has a greater impact on the system skills, which often relies on prior knowledge and experience while masking the system's own generalization power. Intelligence is marked by skill acquisition and generalization rather than skill itself. Thus, a better definition of AGI is a system that can efficiently acquire new skills outside of its training data. Essentially, a system can adapt to new problems that it has not seen before and that its creators or developers did not anticipate. This is when ArcPrize comes in place. Now, in 2019, Francis Chollet, the creator of Keras, an open source deep learning library, published the article on the measure of intelligence, where he introduced the abstract and reasoning corpus for artificial general intelligence, or ARC-AGI, benchmark to measure intelligence. Then later in 2020, he hosted the first ARC-AGI competition on Kaggle to test his hypothesis, aka his benchmark. The winning team of that competition, IceCuber, achieved a 21% success rate on the test set, indicating the large gap between AI and human intelligence. Now, throughout the years, this AGI competition would gain traction as multiple different teams from around the globe would enter, thus leading to ARC Prize, which is a name that was adopted for the 2024 competition to become a foundation where they continue to host the competitions in order to push AGI advances. The principle underlying ArcAGI's design is the need to create a fair and meaningful comparison between artificial intelligence and human intelligence. This was accomplished through focusing on fluent intelligence, the ability to reason, solve novel problems, and adapt to new situations, rather than crystallized intelligence, which relies on accumulated knowledge and skills to reason, solve problems, and adapt to new situations. This distinction is critical because crystallized intelligence, by definition, includes cultural knowledge and learned information, which would provide an unfair advantage. ArcAGI avoids crystallized intelligence by restricting itself to core knowledge priors, those cognitive building blocks that are either present at birth or acquired very early in human development with minimal explicit instructions. The rationale for using core knowledge priors is twofold, as it isolates the capacity for a generalization, the ability to take limited information and apply it to new unseen instances, thus forcing test taker, human or AI, to demonstrate genuine problem solving ability rather than rely on pre existing domain-specific knowledge. For instance, if the benchmark included written portions in a specific language, then an immediate disadvantage is given to AIs that had been extensively pre-trained on vast literature in that language, which is the same advantage that can apply to humans not fluent to the language, and allowing those with experience an advantage point. Secondly, restriction to core knowledge priors allow for more accurate assessment of the efficiency of intelligence. The core idea is that more intelligent entity should be the most efficient at using its resources to acquire a given task. Easy for humans, hard for AI is a phrase that essentially sums up the goal of ArcAGI, because the human brain is our only existence proof of general intelligence. As such, identifying the intelligence characteristic it has is a valuable direction for benchmarking AI because it directly targets the core of what distinguishes general intelligence from narrow skills. While the majority of AI benchmarks measure performance on tasks that require extensive training or specialized knowledge, ArcPrize focuses on tasks that humans solve effortlessly, yet AI finds challenging, highlighting fundamental gaps in AI's reasoning and adaptability. The approach reveals the essential qualities of intelligence, such as the ability to generalize from limited examples, interpret symbolic meaning, and flexibly apply rules in varying contexts that current AI systems struggle to replicate. By emphasizing these human intuitive tasks, we not only measure progress more clearly, but push the field of AGIs forward by inspiring researchers to pursue genuine novel ideas, moving beyond incremental improvements towards meaningful breakthroughs. At the start of the competition, we had ARC AGI 1. It was first introduced in 2019 by Frez and Charlotte. It was developed as a novel benchmark designed to test machine reasoning and general problem solving skills. It consisted of 800 puzzle like tasks designed as grid based visual reasoning problems. They're trivial for humans but challenging for machines. At the start of each puzzle, they only provide a small number of examples in input-output pairs. Required participants, human or AI, need to deduce underlying rules through abstraction, inference, and prior knowledge rather than brute force or extensive training. ARC AGI-1 remained unsolved by AI systems throughout 2019 into late 2024. That was because ARC AGI-1 was effectively solved by OpenAI's O3 model, posting scores of 75.7% on low compute and 87% accuracy on high compute. Now, this led to the creation of ARC AGI-2, which was launched in late March of this year. It's the second edition of the ARC AGI series, raising the bar for difficulty for AI while maintaining the same relative ease for humans. All ARC AGI-2 tasks were solved by at least 2 humans within 2 attempts or less in a controlled study with hundreds of human participants. What makes ARC AGI-2 more difficult is its focus on 3 areas where AI seems to falter. Symbolic interpretation, frontier AI reasoning systems struggle with tasks requiring symbols to be interpreted as having meaning beyond their visual patterns, aka failing to assign semantic significance to the symbols themselves. Composition reasoning, it's where these AI struggle with tasks requiring simultaneous application of a rules or application of multiple rules that interact with each other. And finally, contextual rule application. It's where these AI struggle with tasks where rules must be applied differently based on context, because in most cases, AI would fixate on superficial patterns rather than understanding the underlying selection principles. Now I'm going to show you a few of the ARC puzzles that we did in class and provide you a solution to them. So the first puzzle, number 005762224, we're giving a 2x2 grid with different colors for each corner of the square. Now, the expected output changes the size of the grid from the initial 2x2 grid to a 6x6 grid, as we can see from the input and the output and comparing the length, width, time, and length. The initial 2 rows, so these first two rows here, remain the same pattern as indicated by the input. So green, red is green, red, green, red, green, red, and then orange, light blue, orange, light blue, orange, light blue. However, the colors swap position in the next two rows before the pattern reverts to the first two rows by the third set. So if we look at the third and fourth row here, the colors in those rows switches. So now instead of green and red, it's red, green, and vice versa. So from orange and light blue to light blue and orange. And then by the next set of two rows, it goes back to the same color scheming as the first two rows uh, that we started with. The second puzzle is number 009D5C81. The main component of this puzzle that we're focusing on is this 3 by 3 grid symbol right here. We can tell that it's 3 by 3 because 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3. Uh, Essentially, the pattern of this symbol indicates the color that the larger symbol should be converted into. So, because of the symbol here, this indicates that we must convert this light blue into orange, and then we get rid of the 3 by 3 grid because we don't need it anymore. The third arc puzzle is number 16B78196. Here, the different symbols on the input must be combined together to create a uniform rectangle shape, regardless of their location in the initial input. So as we can see here, the yellow shape in the input is on the left side. However, in the output, we moved it to the right side. The symbol must not leave any gap between each symbol and must fit within an empty space on the green line without leaving any empty spaces. So essentially, it must create a rectangle space with no like empty spots here, and then we have to connect it to where it can fit. So for example, if we were to place this rectangle here, while it might fit, but because of it being a 2 and this is a 3 by 1 hole, it'll create a missing spot right here or here, thus marking it as wrong. Uh, in addition, we can't rotate the shapes in any direction. They have to remain in the same orientation that they started with. So while we can easily like rotate it 180 degree and then fit right here, it'll mark it as wrong because that's not the original orientation of these shapes. Furthermore, as we can see here, not all the shapes are gonna be put together to create one giant rectangle shape. We can create like one, two, or even more like shape depending on if they can create a shape together. And then the final arc puzzle is 045E512C. The initial symbol must be repeated in the same direction as where these fragments are located. So as we can see in the input, we have the initial symbol here, and then we have one fragment here, one fragment here, and one fragment here. The fragment must be converted into the symbol, but whatever color that the fragment was given must remain the same for itself and future symbols following its direction. So as we can see here, because this is red, we copied the symbol, but we retain the red color scheme. And then here it's a green color scheme. We convert it into the symbol, but it remains the same color scheme. And then right here with the two fragments, it becomes part of the whole symbol, but it retains the yellow color scheme. Now the spaces, aka empty grid square, between the initial symbol and the fragments, that'll be the same for any additional symbol in the same direction of the fragment. So because the red one here has one space between itself and the original symbol, that means for any repeating symbol across this grid, there has to be one space in between them. As such, because the yellow fragment is one space adjacent to the original symbol, that means that the next symbol going in its direction has to be one space adjacent to it. Finally, never draw the symbol beyond the grid, and if a symbol goes beyond said grid, but parts of it is still on the grid, still draw them. So because of the positioning and direction of the yellow symbols, if we follow it, then that means that the top portion of the yellow symbol is won't be drawn on the grid because it's out of bounds. But because these small little legs are still within the grid, we still have to draw them. And these are the references we use for the notes. We have the YouTube video from the ArcPrice channel called General Intelligence, Define It, Measure It, and Build It. And then we also have the ArcPrice blog where they discuss Arc AGI 1 and 2 and some background information. And this is the end of my video. Thank you for watching and have a good day.